Hello and welcome to the All About You show with OMG and friends, where we talk about the things that you think about and some things you don't. I am your host, OMG. As you can see, I am flying solo right now. My co-hosts are both stuck in traffic, but in the meantime, I will engage you as well as hopefully you will engage me as well. And as always, family, we'd like to thank you for joining us, and we ask that you please join in on the conversation, where your thoughts, your comments, and your opinions help drive the conversations. Today we're going to discuss, or I will at least, givers and takers. Now, I'm going to kind of veer away from the paperwork right now that I've written up earlier, but for the most part, we all have people in our lives that either do one or two things. They either help or they hurt, they either give or they take. Their intentions are either one or the other. Now, I myself, being a true giver, because you have givers and then you have true givers and then you have just straight takers. But I, being a true giver, have been in situations that I was surprised to find myself in. But in the meantime, I'll give you a little bit of background on what I think about being a giver. To be a giver is to believe. We givers believe in the power of the universe and trust that there is enough of everything for everyone. Giving is an act of faith. A true giver does not give for a reward, to receive gratitude, or to control, but gives for the energy of giving itself. Givers know that by bringing to life, they ultimately fill life with more to be given and received by all, including themselves. Now, to be a taker, y'all just greedy and you're afraid. By that I mean greed comes from a place and feeling of lack. Takers think there's not enough, so therefore they must get more of everything from everyone. They keep whatever they can for themselves. And sometimes greedy people will give, but they do not give for the sake of giving. They give simply to gain. Now, whether it is for approval, repayment, or even gratitude, greed only comes with an expectation. Now, there's a difference between giving because you are a giver and continuing to give to the wrong people. Codependent giving does not lead anywhere but to feelings of lack and betrayal. Giving for validation and acceptance leads only to more abandonment issues when the people you love and are giving your attention to do not treat you well or appreciate you. Well, when you give in a toxic and unhealthy way, you not only hurt yourself, but you also do a disservice to those who are taking from you as well. And this form of giving is not to be mistaken or confused with being a true giver. Anything that sucks the life out of you, or destroys your relationship with others, or even sacrifice the relationship that you have with yourself, within yourself, it is poison, it is venomous, and it needs to be avoided. True givers get the most out of life, and those who share freely in the spirit of love and abundance are blessed beyond measure. So the question becomes, are you a giver or a taker? So I'll discuss a little bit more of that. I am, as I said earlier, I am the only child, so therefore I guess I have always been one to been raised to share, so I give. I think givers will do something for you. Givers will give to you, they will do for you, and they will share with you. Conversely, a taker will take from you, talk smack to you, and then promise you. So these are two different sides of the spectrum, and all of us pretty much fall in one of these categories, although now there has been a third category created called matchers. And matchers are the ones who kind of play both ends against the middle. They're going to give when it's okay to give, and they're going to take when it's okay to take. So either way, they're not missing anything or losing anything because they're betting or they're hedging their bet on whichever way you're going to fluctuate depending on what the situation is. Now, you have different types of givers and takers. You have those people who will stay around you, hang around you just to be in your sphere, your aura, your presence, not really liking you, but in the same vein, still wanting something from you. Now, I find that difficult to do myself because I don't have time for that. I'm an all or nothing person. I'm either all in or I'm all out. There are no shades of gray with me, except what I wear is my crown. Things are either black or white with me. So if I'm with someone, I'm with you. I'm going to be there to support you, to help you, to give you whatever it is that you need to get through to the next step of that journey. But I seem to attract these takers. I'm not sure why that is. Is it because 98.8% of the people are takers? Or am I one of the few that are still givers from a natural perspective, from a caring, altruistic perspective, am I one of few? So I'm just curious if you know where you fit in the spectrum. Are you a giver? Are you a taker? Now, there are times when I will consider myself a taker, and that will be in a situation that if nobody else will take control, I will. Now, that I'll admit to. As far as taking advantage of people, using people, playing games with people, that's not my forte, and I try not to engage in situations that continue to go down that path. But sometimes you don't always find out in enough time. But when you do, like I said, it's venomous. It's like poison. It's like cancer. You cut it out. You get it out of your system. You keep it moving, and you go along. And there is also, like they said, a dark side to giving, because you can get people sometimes give with the intentions of getting something back, and I think that's a grave disadvantage. Because never will you receive the blessings or the gift back from someone that you have gifted. Normally it comes from the Heavenly Father, or your blessing will come from someone else that's been assigned to you as an angel unawares. You never know what people are bringing to you. But I think in today's world, because our president is, first of all, he's rude, which is why I decided to go ahead and finish my etiquette book, because he has no manners, he cares about no one, and he has lowered the bar. He is also a taker. He is a bully. He doesn't care about people of color, people, period. His wife's an immigrant, but what the heck? He has a position on that as well. So I think from the top coming down, we are all in a situation that appears, in my mind, to be very negative. It is about us not caring about each other. It is about Trump emboldening people to be able to just say what they want to say, and you either take it or leave it, or there's going to be some sort of hate crime that ensues as a result of that. So again, giving is more proactive, it's productive, it's positive, it's energizing, and it has a vibration. These takers come to your world and they darken your whole spirit because their intentions are not honorable. Now, when I have people around me like that, now I've gotten a little bit more mature and I can spot it. So now if somebody comes in my area of space, immediately upon their leaving, I will quickly go and get my sage. Okay? I'll get my frankincense and myrrh, and I'll try to get that spirit out of there, because I do not want that lingering in my home. And so again, I'm just trying to see where it is that you guys fall, in what line do you fall in. Are you a giver most of the time? Are you a giver sometimes? Are you a taker most of the time, or a taker sometimes? And so, again, it's a personal call, but I think people who are givers, I think they sleep better, and people who are takers, they sleep well for a while, but I think after you've done so much wrong to so many people on so many different levels, that it's quite difficult for you to sleep comfortably. I was once told that you can't cheat an honest man, and a soft pillow. What was it saying? A soft pillow is a good conscience. So basically, I sleep well, and I don't run the risk of having used someone, betrayed someone, play a game with someone without, my first judging, is this something I want to do? Most of the time, I will not. I will not engage in anything that is vile or vicious, because I don't have to. I bring a good spirit, and I'm assuming most of you do. But again, there are quite a few of us out there, guys, that don't bring it. And what you do bring is scary. So with that being said, I just think that we all need to examine who we are and the role that we play in the lives of people that we care about, and those that we love. And am I having to go to break right now? And I think on that note, guys, I'll be right back.
You are listening to The Bridge. Share your opinion by calling 713-789-0096. Stay tuned. Listening to The Bridge. Share your opinion by calling 713-789-0096. Stay tuned.
Reading a good book is intimate self-indulgence. Hi, this is Silky Smooth with the All About You show. I recommend key ingredients to loving yourself. Nourishment from the inside.
They one of them. Maybe we should tell people to call in. If they
Yeah,
have
that's what I'll do in a minute. Yeah. As we are back, you listen to the All About You show. You're listening to me solo today until my girls get here. But at any rate, I am your host, OMG, and I am sharing in a nice light Chardonnay to open up and talk to you guys. But let me read this to you. The giver gives, the taker takes. The giver's real, the taker's fake. The giver gets used, the taker uses. The giver finds reason, the taker finds excuses. The giver's honest, the taker a liar. The giver's water, the taker's fire. The giver's heart's warm, the taker's heart's cold. The giver gets tired, the taker gets old. The giver loses, the taker wins. When the giver starts thinking, the taker spins. The giver gets smarter, the taker's a fool. The giver was me, and the taker is you. The giver leaves, the taker goes on, looking for the next victim to prey upon. And that's pretty much how it works. You know, they are fake. And I've always believed that when you are in a situation not for the right reason, and if it's not genuine, then I think you are playing a game with yourself. And if you are a true altruistic person and you are genuine and you're authentic and you're organic, then with that, your moves are calculated, but yet they are always in a good spirit. I'd like to have some of you call in if you like, because I'd like to have somebody to talk to at this point. The number here at the studio is 713-789-0096, and we are talking about givers and takers, and what role do you play in the whole situation here with making a choice, and is your choice vary depending on what the conversation is or what the topic is that you're talking about, and at what point are you a giver and then on the other side a taker. You know, I think it's good to give. I think it's psychologically good. It's good energy. It's good karma. It's all those things that you seek to find in your life to stay positive, stay motivated, and stay moving forward, because the word motivation means to move forward. So again, we have a whole plethora of people out here that are all evildoers. They are all takers, and they really don't care what you think about them. So I'd like to know again what you think, and if you have the opportunity, please do give us a call at 713-789-0096. And so I will continue to move on from there. But being a giver is an attribute. It is something that you value. It is in the core of who you are. And I think conversely, being a taker is quite the same. It is the core of who you are. You feel like there's not enough. And if there's lack, then you're going to hoard and take from people because your hands are always out to receive. And a giver genuinely gives, walks away from it. Hey, you take it. It's good for you. You get on with that. And you did it for the right reasons, so you can always engage with that person again. But on the side of being a fake taker, then in that case, you can't come back around. Unless, of course, as I mentioned earlier, you can give for the wrong reasons and play a game that you're not good at. And in that case, I guess you don't win at all. You are, in fact, the loser at that point. But, you know, giving is altruistic, and it is an aura. And it also, some people have motivations for giving. I really don't have any other than the fact that it's who I am. It's who I've been raised to be. It's who I am in this whole sphere that I live in. It's who I am. I don't understand people that are not givers. I don't understand how. I'm one of those people. I even give money to the people, I guess they call them panhandlers here, because every corner has a specific block where the panhandlers will have their card and they're asking for money, and if you stay around long enough, you will see some of these panhandlers go and get into a Cadillac after they have stood on the corner and begged for money for hours. So I am one of those people. I will give you, if you're on the corner saying that you're hungry, I don't want that to be on my conscience. So whether you take that money and you buy a hit, or if you take that money and you go buy McDonald's, that's on you, because I will have done what I am supposed to do. Also, individuals giving is a paradoxical form of narcissism, depending on, again, why you're giving. The giver is a martyr whose selfishness is prominently on display for all to admire. Now, you do have givers such as those that it's kind of like the Bible says, if you're fasting or if you're doing something good, you need not be in the center of the square hollering and letting everybody know that you are, in fact, doing a good deed. You do it because it's who you are. You do it because it does something to you. It makes you feel connected to the rest of the world. And there may also be a compulsive giving that is driven by low self-esteem. Now, in such cases, individuals believe that they are only to be liked if they do things for other people. And in my case, I think that's called buying people, and that's usually not a good process, because nobody's worth paying for, actually. So I think that's my opinion. But people will do that and try to engage friends and have people in their corner or in their circuit just for purposes such as that. But again, I fly solo today. I'm an only child. I'm like an eagle. I must fly at a high altitude. So I don't really need all of the yard bird conversation that comes with people who do things for reasons to be admired, or reasons to be acknowledged, or reasons to be given credit and have their egos blown up. Again, I wrote a book a couple of months back that I have yet to talk about with you guys. Now, I will do that, but that's not been the most important thing in my life. The most important thing in my life is relaying information to you guys so that you are prepared when the time comes for whatever it is we might need to handle. And I think giving gives you an edge because it allows you to make the deposits that when you call on God, then you are able to do a withdrawal. But for the takers, they get blessings too, I suppose, because I think Satan gives blessings as well. So I think they're able to get something from their conversation with their Lord, and they get moved up through the ranks, again, on the side of being a taker. Got me kind of hot in here. At any rate, again, I'd like to see and hear if you guys have anything that you can share with us in regards to where you fit in the whole scheme of things, whether that's a giver or a taker, or are you a person that is a matcher? Again, there's a third category added to this, but the matcher category is mainly added for employment purposes in a workplace. There is something on YouTube, I think it's called TED 2, and this guy, Adam Grant, speaks on givers and takers. So you have the givers who give, you have the takers who take, and you have the matchers who, like I say, hedge their bet, and they're going to bet on both sides to see which way you're going to go. So to me, that's taking a stance of no position. So in that case, you might even be taking a position by not saying anything. But a matcher is a person who straddles, in my mind. They're on the shades of gray. They're not dealing with either black or white. They want to give you because you're giving to them and think that there is something in it for them, or they're taking from you because they know, well, they won't miss it, or they're not really in tune to what I'm really doing. But I think who you are is who you are, and a leopard does not change its spots. And many of us have had those people closely associated with us. Oftentimes it's friends and families, family members that are the ones that are doing the taking and you're doing the giving. And so at some point you have to step back and decide that who's more important, you or them. I always choose me. So I'm able to, tip my hat and keep it moving because I know what I bring. And so I'm not the only one like this. I'm sure there are lots of other people out there who are givers, and they give for the right reasons. It's a genuine reason. They do it not to be self-serving, not to be self-grandizing, not to get anything in return for it, but just give it as a gift, And so also you have those who give simply because it elevates their status. It gives them some sense of one-upmanship. I have something up on you because I have done more than you. I have given of my time, or I have philanthropic, patterns that I give to organizations and charities and stuff. But see, all of that is for show. So it depends on how much of your life you are living strictly for show. And I guess to some degree we all do just a little, because all of us are out there for the most part to see and be seen, for those who need that. Again, I just don't feel that at this stage in my life that's worth the effort of being out there like that, being out there wide open just to give and to help and to move someone else forward, only to have that person betray you, lie to you, take from you, promise you, and just, put you in a situation to where you have to second guess, why was I good to this person? So in my life, I have learned that I'm not going to change. So I'm still going to be the good person that I am, but I'm just going to have to be more conscious of who I am good to. So I rechannel that good energy and my giving ability to people that are reciprocal. And if you choose not to reciprocate, that's fine. Not all people that are not necessarily reciprocating with you are not necessarily takers. Sometimes they don't have it to give. And if you are a giver, it doesn't matter. Well, if they don't have it, oh well, you did it out of the goodness of your heart. If they do have it and want to reciprocate, then you've got another giver to be engaged with, or you might just have a matcher who feels like it's in their best interest to match your bet. So you bet on me for a moment, let me put a few dollars over here to make sure that I can bet on you and you can bet on me, and we'll play that game until someone has to separate from that game and decide who the winner is going to be. And usually I think the giver, although it seems as though you're at the shorter end of the stick, I think the giver still comes out as the winner. And so, and I think there is a psychology of a taker. Now, I don't know what that is. I was expecting to have our show psychologist come in today, but she was a patient. So we weren't able to get that. But I believe everything has a psychology, just like I believe everything has an etiquette. So the psychology of somebody being a user, I would love to really know the details on that. But again, you have people that are overly nice to you for a purpose, not generally overly nice to you, but there's a psychology there. Trust me. Like I said, everything has a psychology and an etiquette. So maybe at another time in another show I can possibly have Dr. Butler come in and kind of discuss with us the psychological reasons of why people give and why they take. I think we have a caller. Thank you for calling in, so I'm not doing a monologue over here. Thank you. Caller, you're on the air.
Oh, how you doing? Good evening. This
Good evening.
is Mike Brandon.
Mike, how are you? Thank you for calling in.
Yes, good evening. The giving and taking topic, in relationships and finances, what really the focus is on good investing and bad investing. You can't give a pearl to a swine.
Oh my gosh, thank you. Yes,
and
you're right.
expect a return. So, in those layers, you ought to be able to see Porky coming to you before you start an investment in that relationship, finance, business, any area. So thanks a lot. Another great topic, great show.
Thank you. I appreciate your comment. Thank you so much, Mike. Well, welcome, Daydream.
Welcome, guys. It's nasty out there.
I know,
it's
but I was
bad.
telling people, outside of the accidents that we have here, we have some rain coming this way.
Right.
I happen to live closer to the station than everybody else.
Right, and it's not consistent rain. It's
Just
in
that-
and out,
yeah,
off, and it's when it's there, it's pretty
there.
nasty. But yay, I'm here, guys. Welcome.
So yeah, we're still going on with the topic of, gosh, I hear it raining. The givers and takers, and how some are, they give out of guilt. You give out of having low self-esteem.
Right.
You give out of being narcissistic, and I think all of those are not good reasons. I think you should give because it's in your heart to give.
Absolutely.
And
I kind of have mixed feelings about it because there's some things, people, like you said, there's people who will do things for you because they genuinely want to do it. It's from their heart. They're not expecting anything in return.
Right.
And then you have those people who they're doing it because they want everyone to know this is what I did.
And this is who I am.
Yes,
Yeah.
and look at what a great person I am. You saw a lot of that during Harvey. When we have crisis, natural disasters.
But we're not like that on the regular.
No.
No.
And then people were making a point. It's like if you went out and you donated or you were helping to rescue or you went above and beyond for a family or anyone, why do you need to announce that? Why do you need to put a billboard up to say, hey, look at me, I did this, look how great of a person I am, look how wonderful of a Christian? No, you're not.
That's
You did
validating.
it, right. You did it for the accolade, for the accolade of it. You did it for the notoriety, for the limelight. And there were things that I did for people who needed the help,
Right.
and I didn't let anybody know.
I do it all the time.
And they were like, "Oh, well, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna let so and so." And it's like, no, you don't have to say anything. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, let it go.
Yeah, I did it because I could at the time. I was able to, or
I just wanted to.
right.
And I believe that if you have it to give, you are to give it. I forgot the biblical scripture, but it's something that says if someone comes to your door and they are hungry, I can't remember the scripture, and you have the food to give, you are to give it.
Correct.
You are not to say, well, listen, I forgot the scripture. Anyway, it's when a traveler's on the road and a man decides not to wake up because somebody's at his door late.
Mm-hmm.
But the Bible basically speaks of the fact that if someone comes to your door in the middle of the night and they need something and you have it, you should give it.
Absolutely.
You should not say, well, listen, come back tomorrow. I'm in the bed right now. I'm tired of not opening my door. Come tomorrow.
Right.
And see, a lot of people want to procrastinate and put you off because their intentions are not honorable for you anyway.
Right.
You
That's kind of like, what was I going to say? Like when someone's calling, oh, I don't want to answer them right now. They just want something.
I know. I hear that
it's
a lot.
like, oh man, so-and-so's the only one calling me. They must need something. Hold on. Let
And
me
that's
see
sad when that's attached to your name. you
Right.
know?
Like you should be able to call someone, just say, hey, how's it going? I passed by this area. Your
Thought
favorite
about
restaurant,
you.
thought about you.
Right.
Or you came up in my mind. I just wanted to say hi, see how you were doing.
See, yeah, a lot of people don't function at that level. So I don't think that they know how to be that genuine. So again, I mentioned that our president is fake and he's a bully. And so
He's
takers are like
the
on the
biggest
move right now.
narcissist.
But the takers are on the move right now, because
Right.
of him. And so, he's the biggest narcissist that we have. He is a bully, but I feel like everybody's afraid of him. Nobody's done anything to correct anything. I think they've talked about impeachment, but that may or may not happen. So I'm not sure exactly where we are in that. But there is a book that Adam Grant wrote. I told you he is the guru on giving and taking, and he's on the YouTube channel TED 2. And he basically says that you're either kissing up or you're kicking down, one or the other. So if you are, and that's mainly for a taker, because a taker is going to suck up because they need something.
Right.
The minute they get what they need, they're pretty much done.
Yeah, you're only as good as your last favor.
Yeah, and so they have to continue to replenish their pool of friends or lack of friends rather. They'd have to pool with these people to try to continue to create new people to take from.
Right.
As opposed to givers. I'm tired of finding people who need help. I'm okay. I've done my share of giving. I've done my share of community work, which is what the All About You show is about. This is
Correct.
community. And we do this for you. So we come here in the rain and traffic and all those good things. Even get here late.
Right. Definitely. Yeah, I did think about it. I was like, if I'm going to be this late, maybe I should just turn. I'm like, no, I'm already here. Just because that's what you do. You can't have an excuse like everybody else always has an excuse.
That's why I said earlier, the takers have an excuse. Like,
Those takers are to me, those are the thirsty people.
well, that's most of the world.
That you
You
take
know?
and take, but like you said, you're not replenishing. So what you can only take out what's being put in, and if there's nothing being put in.
No deposits, no withdrawals. You can't really do that. But I'm just curious, what are the signs of somebody? I don't really know how to. I guess because I take people in for who they are, and I give them way more credit than they deserve.
Mm-hmm.
So it takes me a minute, I guess, because it won't take long because the taker's going to move fairly quickly.
Right. They're in and out.
They're in and out.
They know within 5 minutes
if you're going to do something and if you're not.
If you're gonna benefit them.
Yes, and with that they will have to continue to keep moving though. But like I said, givers, we just kind of remain stable. We remain energized, and we do what we do because we enjoy doing it. So, I don't know exactly what the signs are of a giver other than myself. I gave the listening audience my perspective of who I am. You want to tell us who you are as a giver? And let us know when, at what point have you ever been a taker?
Yes.
I said, 'cause
I think we've all
been
been
there.
takers at
Come
some
on, yeah,
point,
right.
or before we realize, hey,
What
you know
it
what,
was, right.
this is what I'm doing, and I
I
shouldn't.
don't like doing
You
this,
know?
yeah.
Yeah, it's when you're constantly burning bridges. There's always, some sort of drama that follows you.
And it's only you. I mean, you've had
Right.
5 relationships, and the only common denominator here
Is
is
you.
you. So
Right.
clearly,
Yeah, so I've been both. I feel like I have a very small circle, and
I do as well.
with that circle, I'm very much a giver. If you need me, you call me. I'm gonna answer your phone.
I'm like that.
You know,
yeah.
Everyone knows. Hey, it 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, 12 in the afternoon, whatever. Daydream is gonna answer her phone.
I'm like that as well. Now, if you call me 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night, you're going to have to call my home phone. Yes, I do still have a home phone.
Oh yeah, landline all the
Because,
way.
yeah, I got a landline because the cell phone, I do not charge in the same room where I sleep. There are radio frequency waves. I know y'all don't believe this. Your TV, your laptops, your computers.
Right, that blue light, that blue
all that
screen.
stuff is right there. So I leave that room and I sleep in another room. So if it gets to that kind of time, you got to be a good friend of mine to call me on my home phone.
Right, number one to even have that
To
number.
even have the number,
Okay.
right.
Like there was one time one of my coworkers, she's one of my girlfriends. She called me. It was 3:35 in the morning.
And I don't sleep
And-
too hard.
yeah,
So I would awaken.
I'm in the industry, so I keep odd hours. I was still awake. I had left earlier in the shift, and she called, and I was like, "Whoa, well, she's calling me at this hour. I know they got out of work not too long ago. Let me see what's going on." And she what do you call it?
I wasn't, yeah.
She was so surprised. I answered on the second ring,
Right.
and she's like, "Oh my God, you answered." I said, "Well, yeah." I said, "You called."
Right.
And she goes, "I know." She goes, "But like, you
Most
really
people-
answer.
most
People say
people
that they'll
don't do
answer
that.
and they don't."
Most
She's like,
people
"Wow,
don't.
that's so awesome." And she needed help with something. So, of course, I'm gonna answer. If you call me, I'm gonna answer. Whether it's because you need something or because you're gonna say hi, I don't have a problem. If I have it, I'll do it.
Well, I don't answer because, first of all, you don't normally call me this damn time of night.
Right. So
if
what's
you're
up?
calling me that
What's
late,
going on?
something's got to be going on. Either I got to come down because you didn't call a case or
Yeah, or maybe I was just having a turned up Tuesday,
right,
and
and
hey,
come get
I'm
me.
still I'm still going hard. So
Right.
sorry, I forgot it was 3:30 on a Wednesday
Absolutely,
morning
yeah,
and not a
right.
Wednesday afternoon.
Absolutely. So people, we do that.
Yeah, absolutely. But when it comes, okay, so like hand, what do you call it? Hand handlers?
Panhandlers.
Panhandlers. The ones that are looking for a handout.
Yeah. I
The
just
ones
told-
on the corner.
I just told them about that. Tell them your side.
I used to be very much, if I had any change, if I had a dollar, let me hurry up. I'm gonna hurry up and grab what I have, and I'm gonna give it to you. I had no problem with doing that. And then after a while, as I started getting older, I said, well, why are they just standing there begging for someone to give them something? How come they're not trying to get a job or sell waters or candies? And so those people, whether I'm thirsty or not, if it's a candy I
You
like or
buy
a snack,
it. I'll do the same
because
thing.
you're out here not begging for someone to give you something, but you're trying to make the effort to, okay, well, let me just sell some water and get 50 cents off this water or this quarter off this water. I would much rather give you my money for something I didn't need, knowing you're trying to earn a living, you're trying to do for
Trying to do
your
something for
own.
yourself.
You know?
Now I will give you some money, and like I said, I did it as recent as today.
Mhm.
There was a lady on the corner with a sign, dressed fairly well. I didn't have time to
Mhm.
read the sign because she was a little bit further away from me, but she was off to the corner and I was in the far left lane. But at any rate, so she spots me.
Uh-huh.
She's a black woman, so she spots me, and all of a sudden she's giving me the side eye, like, okay, you driving this Porsche, and
Yeah.
I'm on the corner, got a sign that says, I am a grandmother looking for. I pulled
You're
down,
a grandmother too.
I pulled down, I rolled the window down. I said, sister, I'm a grandmother as well, but here's $1. You need to get a job. I'm not going to give you the money without a tad bit of advice, because once you take my money, I owe it to myself to say to you, do something for yourself. Just
Right.
because you're a grandmother, that's not a big enough reason. I don't know what the rest of it was. I'm hungry or whatever it is, but you were well dressed. You had your, I mean, you look clean. You look
You got all
showered.
your limbs.
You got
You're
all-
in your
right.
well. You
Get out
you
and go-
seem to be a sound-minded
Get a
body.
job. Get a damn job. You know. So, like I said, I'll give it to them. And then there are others that are, you know, amputees and vets and stuff like that. I don't ask any questions. I just kind of give them money because.
Those are a lot of the ones that I do question,
Really?
because I know you're getting a disability check.
Not always, you know, they don't treat the vets that well.
Yes
I
and
mean,
no.
come on.
And so with that one for me, it is very
That's
much
where
of
you have-
whatever my gut tells me,
Then that's what you go.
that's what I'm gonna go with. The majority of the time, I don't feel like, you know what, let me just still go ahead and give this, because I've been the person who I had leftovers, you know, or I had bought extra of something that I was taking home and I didn't have any cash on me.
So you gave
Okay,
them the
but
food. If you say
You
you're
said
hungry,
you're hungry,
then
hey, here's the food, and to a face to be made at you, or
like,
for
I
them to
don't
look
want no
like,
food. Where's the
what do you want me to
money?
do with this?
Right.
Well, B, you said you were hungry, so
Okay.
eat. I mean, if I'm giving you a plate of food, why are you gonna turn your nose up like that?
Because-
Beggars can't be choosers. Evidently, you can be when
Okay.
you're on the corner.
I was telling them before, and we have to go to break in a minute, but I was telling them about those panhandlers that be out on the corner all day collecting money, and
Right.
then walk around the corner and go get in a Cadillac.
There's been a lot of video of people have seen that where they're faking it, you know, or they're saying, oh well, let's take all the kids out here and say we're part of a baseball team or some little sports league, and we're trying to raise money for our uniforms. No, you're not. You're just you're showing
just
them how to
taking.
beg.
You're taking. That's the taker.
Right.
You're
You're
not
you're teaching them how to be takers instead of, you know, being productive citizens
In
and
society.
and doing the right thing. My brother had an experience. He was at a Subway, and he said there was a homeless guy that had walked in, or no, was standing outside, I think, and was asking, "Hey, do you have some spare change? I'm just trying to buy a sandwich." And so, you know, my brother didn't have any cash on him, but he had bought a footlong, and then bought an extra one.
Okay.
And gave it to the man, and he looked at it, the guy, he's like, oh man, thank you, I appreciate it. And so he opens it up, and evidently he didn't like the sandwich because he turned his nose up at it and then threw it away. And my brother turned around and said, what are you doing? And he goes, why would you do that? He goes, what? He goes, you said you were hungry.
I give you food.
I bought you something, you know, because I was able to, and you turned your nose at it and just threw it away. He goes, so either you're hungry or you're not.
Clearly he was not. I think on that note, we have to go to break, and we shall be right back. It is pouring down raining. Oh my God.
I made it just in time.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. It's not showing me my comments on here.
Listen to The Ring. Share your opinion by calling 713-789-0096. Stay tuned. Hi, I'm your host, OMG.
That's nasty. I'm trying to figure out how to. It's not It's showing me comments. Oh yes, thank you.
I'm having a heat attack.
Oh, lightning's about to hit nasty.
I know our open.
Yeah, I'm seeing there's some comments on here, but it's not letting me pull them up or read them. I don't get what.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I was thinking the same thing.
What is going on?
What? Oh, I bet you can.
Be back on in about 15 seconds. What's on the 15 minutes and we're 12 minutes in.
There we go. It's up. Yay.
There's your one. No, you don't do red.
Thank you.
You guys ready? And 3, 2, 1.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the All About You show with OMG and Friends. I am your host, OMG, along with my co-host.
Daydream.
And we are talking about givers and takers and how to really identify them and to determine whether or not you are a giver or a taker. You know, you have a lot of people who take, and again, it's for self-promotion, it's self-absorbed, they're all self-important. As you said, they'll go out and do something for someone, but they have to talk about what
They
they
have
did.
to let it be known.
And that's not the way this should be done. But I don't think, as I said earlier before you got here, I believe that, it's giving is a faith. It's an act of faith. It's
Mhm.
something that you do because you were raised to do it, or it's
Right.
in your spirit to give to someone. And oftentimes, if you're not a giver, it's very hard to become one, I think, unless you have a strong faith.
Right, and see, a lot of my questioning came from when, I was done wrong by somebody. And so that made me question everything. Any little person that I saw when they were asking, I'm like, but what's the real reason behind what they want me for, or what they need me for?
Yeah.
Or are they being honest? Am I gonna get deceived if that type of thing? So now, like I said, you mature. We see things. We understand that what, it's not my job to question or to judge whether this person is being genuine or not. If I feel it in my heart to give or to do this or that for them, then I'll go ahead and do it. And I'm doing it with the best intentions, and I know God knows what my true intention was.
That's it.
You know? So, because also, we're all going to have our point when it's our turn at the pearly gate. And I don't want, right, and I don't want to get asked, hey, why didn't somebody asked you for XYZ and you were able to do that, but you didn't. Why not?
That's the scripture.
That's what scares me. Yeah, that's what scares me, because I don't want to stand there and then say, I don't know. I don't know why I didn't when I could have, and I was very well able to do it. So
I think I've overgiven in my years. I'm just kind of chill now. I'm still there. I'm still there for people. But this literature here says that self-promoting, self-absorbed, and self-important, and that thanks to Facebook, LinkedIn, and other social networks, we now live in a very transparent world, which makes spotting takers that much easier. And so I guess and they said also companies like Groupon and some of the others that are on Facebook and LinkedIn are trying to weed out the fakers and the takers. It says, what these companies recognize is that anybody can fake niceness for an hour.
Right.
In fact, this is what takers are best at. But when you look at Facebook posts, you'll see a different story about who they really are. So if you go to it, they're all altruistic and they do this, but then their post is going to be about someone, something nasty or something that they've done. So I guess takers consistently post more information that is self-promoting, self-absorbed, and self-important.
Absolutely.
And quotes are arrogant and boastful. They love to brag about accomplishments, and everything about their post smacks of one thing: me and how great I am. What takers post don't offer is anything much in return.
Right.
But a lot of, look at me, I'm awesome.
Exactly. So yesterday I saw a meme, and it was an apple in front of a mirror looking at its reflection. So of course in the reflection you see this beautiful red, perfect apple. But what you don't see is the back of the apple is bitten into.
Okay.
And has, and it's already like decayed looking. But the post had something to do with this is what
they show us.
Social media
what
is.
They show you. Right.
Absolutely. Yeah. So you're looking, I'm seeing this front pretty. You're just seeing the front, but you didn't see what was going on in the back. That was all ate up. But they put on this beautiful persona. Oh, this is like the perfect apple, and it wasn't. It was decayed. It was rotten. That is exactly what social media is, and the type of culture
that we're in now.
Absolutely.
We're also in It's All About Me. When it comes to spotting takers, there's one thing we just can't miss: the size of their egos. Takers have a substantially larger ego that we can measure in many different ways. They pay themselves much more than the industry average. In cases of CEOs and people like that of large companies, they'll get in and they will pretty much rob the consumer because the CEO wants so much money. Not to mention he's got G5, he's got House and Vineyards, he's got this, he's got that. It's never enough. And that's, I think, we have in the White House right now.
Absolutely. And if y'all are paying attention to things, look at your statements of things that you're paying for. This not something that costs you $9.99 now ends up being $15.49. Why? Because you have this service fee, you have that convenience fee, you have taxes, you have this and that. But if you actually read what they are, it's this the cost that was given to the company. They then put it onto their consumers. Yes. So we're paying for. So they're getting 100% profit. They're getting almost minimal overhead.
Absolutely.
If they're allowing for credit card transactions, online transactions, companies have to pay for that ability. So what are they doing? Oh, well, now there's this processing fee. No, that's the fee they were supposed to pay to the credit card company, but they're making us pay it so that way they get
you don't have a
100%.
choice. You know, and I have been on the phone before with, I think it may have been AT&T. I'm always arguing with them, but you know, I hate when I have to pay you in order to pay you.
Right.
Okay? And how much sense does that make? You know, like if I want to pay my mortgage or something, I have to pay them $10 for them to take my mortgage over the phone. I gotta pay you to pay you?
Right.
Just take the damn money.
Right, but then when there's a mistake on their end and they're having to credit you or
Oh,
refund
yeah,
you,
that's-
they're giving you
that's
the bare
hard,
minimum.
yeah.
We had to remove this fee and that. So then
Yes.
instead of that $1,000, we're actually only giving you $850.
You
Like,
never-
that
it's all-
doesn't make any
it's-
sense. I paid you I paid you $1,200
It's all a game.
for something that costs $1,000, and you're only going to give me $850 back, and that's a full refund.
It's all a game. The whole world is about taking, and it's about
What did we talk
using.
about before? Yeah, it's a dirty game
It's
that
a dirty
people
game
play.
that we're playing here, and you know I try to rise above it, but sometimes you get sucked into it, and
Right.
that's not a good thing as well. But
Yeah, thank you everyone who's been tuning in. I'm
Thank
so
you,
sorry
guys.
we're so late on these comments. Hello, of course, Mom, Mary. Hi, Mom. Dwight Brandon, our new friend of the show.
Dwight,
He's commented
hi.
also. Thank you to our state rep, Armando Wally, for tuning in. And of course, Joseph Guerra. Thank you, everyone. Sarah and Monica, Gloria, she's also a friend of the show. Javier, Renee. Thank you, everyone who's been tuning in. Give us a call here at the studio or share with us your stories about givers and takers or your perspective of it. 713-789-0096. Dwight says, natural giving creates what can be perceived as being valuable and weak. The spiritual application of a man robbing God pretty much settles that. But what is lost is that giving to God opens up doors and shelves
There's
with
some-
your name on it.
Yes.
Giving opens opportunities to receive, to give more. God can trust you with more. Takers cannot be given pearls. Bad investment.
Wow. Thank you for that comment. Dwight.
Absolutely. How I'm waiting for all these blessings to come to me, but if I'm already full, how can where am I supposed to put those? So let me give away
That's what I said.
those
earlier.
blessings that I have that I'm not using right now, where I found out, you know what, I didn't really have a need for them, but somebody does. So let me give you this. What is that? Now I've got all this extra room, all this extra
It's
space
energy
for what?
when you give stuff. You know, when you give, it's
Mhm.
energy. It's kind of like a euphoric sort of something that happens inside of you when you know you've helped someone, and you don't have to discuss. Well, girl, I just gave so and so this amount of money. That's not important, but a lot of people
And?
do that just for the sake of doing it.
Let me tell you what I did for so and so, and then she didn't even have the audacity to say thank you, or then she treated me like this afterwards. No, I'm not gonna sit there and act like your boo boo smells like roses just because you gave me a pair of shoes for this outfit. For anything, I'm not gonna treat you any different. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. You helped make the outfit, whatever you want to call it, but. And
Yeah, the people, I know, we are who we are. You can't, I love my people, I just don't quite understand them. But, I believe that there's power in giving. I believe there is, there's a comfort that comes in your soul when you lay down that you have done the right thing. And that is worth volumes. And you can also count on God replenishing your giving because you've helped one of his children out there.
right, you do the right thing not because people are watching you. You do the right thing because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah. Well, very few people do that.
It's just like road litter. Don't be a litter bug. Don't throw stuff out the window because it's bothering my current space right now. And then when you have someone in the car with you, I have a
Don't do this
trash
in my
bag.
car. Yeah, right.
No.
Yeah.
Just because somebody's there watching you doesn't mean just do what you were gonna do because that's who you are.
Absolutely. But like I said, we live in a world where people are taking advantage of it. Now it's the in thing. So I think givers are kind of maybe becoming obsolete. That's sad, but somehow true.
And then what are they gonna do? They're gonna be savages.
Well, that's where we're headed. Everybody's kind of like in their own space and wanting
Like the
their own
crab, I'm
things.
gonna eat this crab so I can get to the top. Well, y'all gonna end up eating each other.
and that's pretty much how that works.
Y'all will be non-existent.
And so on that note, I think we have to get up out of here, but I did want to read something else to you real quick. And it is called Givers and Takers, naturally. I'm going to daydream read it. I've had a little bit of wine. I'm going to daydream read this one.
Givers and takers. There are two kinds of people in this place we live, those who take and those who give. The takers are evil or of that kind. The givers are pure and have peace of mind. The takers suck life from everything they see, while the givers sit back, watching the takers seal their destiny. The takers are so blinded by their own greed, yet it is very clear to the givers of fate's sown seed. You see karma come to those who take. This day will come, make no mistake. And when the day comes, when we must pay for our sin, is when the takers will lose and the givers will win.
Remember that. And so, family, until next week, I think next week we're going to talk to you about hypergamy. And for those of you who are not sure what that means, we'll give you an opportunity to find out between now and then. And so, until the next time, we will see you on the radio.
I guess Sylvie couldn't get it. Yeah, I just saw her comment popped up. I was like, I didn't get to read. We live in a society that promotes working smarter.